Hey, this is Richard with a review of Borgo San Felice, a luxury resort in southern Tuscany near the city of Siena. Borgo means village in Italian. It's a word you'll see on a lot of resorts in Tuscany. It's a type of place the Italians call an albergo diffuso, which roughly means dispersed hotel in English, and refers to a hotel where guest rooms are spread across various buildings in what's typically a very old village with an agricultural past. These places started cropping up in Italy in the 1980s as a way of reviving remote villages that had become depopulated over the years. Borgo San Felice is a top-rated albergo diffuso that's part of the Relais Chateaux Association of luxury hotels and restaurants. It opened in 1990 and got a makeover during the COVID years. I found out about it through Condé Nast magazine's list of best hotels in Tuscany. Borgo San Felice is a seasonal operation that closes down in the winter. The 60 rooms and suites at the hotel are spread across numerous buildings that offer a variety of sizes and layouts. Prices range from about €450 for a premium deluxe room that's about 325 square feet to signature suites that are around 1,000 square feet and cost about €1,000 a night. We booked something in between, the 800 square foot suite premium with a king-size bed and private patio. The price for 4 nights came to €2,640, or €660 a night. That works out to about $700 and change per night. This was a special rate called the Stay Longer package. Basically, you get 4 nights for the price of 3. That's a big savings. Without it, we might have looked elsewhere. I booked in January through the hotel website. Because the hotel didn't open for a few months, communication via email was a little spotty. I got my questions answered, but sometimes it took a while. Something to keep in mind if you book during the off-season. Borgo San Felice is located in the hills northeast of Siena. Its relatively remote location means that you'll likely need a car to get there. My advice is to use the train for at least some of the trip to minimize your time spent driving on unfamiliar Italian highways. For instance, we were traveling to the Borgo from Venice, so we took the train from Venice to Florence and rented a car at the Florence airport for the 1-hour drive south to Siena. Once you reach Siena, you jump on another highway east, and after about 10 minutes, you exit onto a single-lane road that goes north to the resort. It's not far distance-wise, but it takes a good 20 to 25 minutes because the roads are narrow and there are a few towns that you pass through. Overall, it's pretty easy to find. If you're coming up from the south, say from Rome, it's about a 3-hour drive, or you could take a train to Siena and rent a car there. The hotel lobby is located on a circular drive close to the road. Parking is valet only. Upon check-in, we were given a tour of the property. It's a beautiful place with honey-colored brick and stone buildings arranged around a central piazza with a lovely chapel on one side. The gravel paths are meticulously maintained. Flowers bloom all over the place, and there is an impressive collection of big trees that are well tended. The Borgo is home to a winery and is almost entirely surrounded by vineyards. The location on a hill means you get great views in every direction. The buildings have different names based on their historical use. Our room was located on the ground floor of La Tinea, which means wine cellar in Italian. It's located just behind the chapel. The room is divided into 2 spaces. There's a sitting room with a TV and fridge just inside the door. Staff had set out complimentary champagne, strawberries, and candied nuts for us when we arrived. The fridge was stocked with booze, water, and juices. It's a convenient place to put leftover food that you take back from the restaurants. The bedroom was spacious, with a comfortable king-size bed. There are plugs next to it for your devices. There's a Lavazza coffee maker with a few pods, along with packets of Nescafe, instant coffee, and a selection of teas. I used the Lavazza a few times. It worked fine, although strangely the mugs didn't quite fit in the space under the nozzle, so I had to hold them there while the coffee came out. The bathroom was big and beautiful, with a Tuscan design scheme featuring orange and yellow tiles. The tub was big and deep, and the separate shower was spacious and had a built-in bench. I don't usually like the bath products in hotels. I find them too perfumey, but Borgo San Felice shampoo and lotions were really nice. They had just a faint orange scent. We took some home and still use them to this day. The temperature in the room was comfortable throughout our stay. We did have a standing fan brought over for air circulation and white noise at night. Robes and flip-flops were provided, and I wore both frequently. Housekeeping came by every day, but not always at a convenient time. My advice is to call the office and schedule your room cleaning for a time when you're going to be out. The patio is spacious and tranquil. We ate out there a couple of times. It's a very nice addition to the room. The room was quiet except for the sounds of people clunking around above us at night, although they did stop around 11 o'clock. If I could have taken our room and moved it to the top floor of the building, it would have been perfect. Next time, I think I would try to book a top floor room to avoid this problem. Breakfast is included in the price of the room, and Borgo San Felice's breakfast buffet was exceptional. It's set up in a centrally located dining area that looks out on the pool. There is indoor and outdoor seating. The buffet offers a great selection with fruits, veggies, cheeses, meats, yogurts, tarts, and cakes. You can have eggs made to order. I highly recommend the veggie omelets. As usual with these buffets, the coffee is not self-serve. You have to ask your server. Not a big deal. We never had to wait long, and they do make pots of American-style drip coffee. There are two restaurants on the property, the more casual Osteria Il Grigio and the high-end Michelin-starred Poggio Rosso. We ate at the Osteria the first night after we checked in. It offers traditional Tuscan food at premium prices. You can get pasta, a Florentine steak. Dinner for two with 2 glasses of wine came to about €100. Poggio Rosso is the brainchild of Colombian-born chef Juan Quintero. It's open for dinner only, and it offers a couple of fixed-price tasting menus. We chose the cheaper of the two, the Indelible Traces, for €175. The meal builds from some small bites to more substantial dishes, and then in the middle of it all they plop down a bread course, and then it's back to the procession of dishes. The food was terrific with very inventive presentations, and it finished with a dessert tribute to the sculptor Fernando Botero, culminating with a Botero-like reclining female made from chocolate coated with gold spray. It was a long meal with a lot of food. I think we were there for about 3.5 hours. It was 11:30 when we got back to our room. It's funny, there was a table of 6 seated near us that was very energetic at the beginning of the meal, and then you could just watch their energy level drop as the meal wore on. I think the restaurant could benefit from a lower priced option with fewer courses. We also had lunch by the pool one day, and on another day we had an early room service dinner on the patio. The food was hot and tasty, it arrived pretty quickly, and we were even joined by 2 of the cross-eyed cats who haunt the property. The pool is set in a lovely spot with a sweeping view of the valley to the west, but it was April and the water was quite cold. I'm sure it's great in the summer, just bear in mind if you go in the spring or fall, it might be a little chilly. The spa is set on the ground floor of a stone building. My wife and I booked the 45-minute massage, which I believe is the least expensive option from the spa menu. After check-in, you get in your robes and have some tea or water in this beautiful waiting area with old vaulted brick ceilings. After that, it's the hot and cold water pools and the emotional shower. And then we got the massages. It was very relaxing, provided you don't think too much about the bill, which was €360 for 2, plus a tip. The gym is located a couple of doors down from the spa. I worked out there once and I was the only one in there, which was fortunate because it's pretty cramped. There are dumbbells, a weight machine, and cardio equipment. Enough stuff to get a good workout in. Water and towels are provided, and there's a nice bathroom with a shower, but you're so close to your room I don't know why you would use it. The Borgo offers a number of experiences that you can add to your itinerary, such as a hot air balloon ride, a bike tour, and a cooking class. We did the private wine tour and tasting. They call it the premium wine experience. There was a young guy who took us across the street to look at the vineyard. He discussed the different soil types that make the region so great for growing grapes. After that, we had a tasting inside the winery. We each got 3 glasses of wine and a charcuterie board. Unfortunately, there weren't many gluten-free options for my wife, who has celiac disease. On a side, I found that the restaurants were sensitive to gluten intolerance and had plenty of options. The wine tour cost 52 euros per person. I enjoyed it, although I can't say I learned a lot about why the wines tasted like they did. The property offers lots of good walks and bike riding opportunities. One walk I highly recommend goes to the east into a vineyard that slopes away from the Borgo. There are paths and an animal pen with a friendly donkey and a couple of goats. Plus you get great views looking back at the Borgo, especially around sunset. With only 60 rooms spread across a large property, the Borgo does not feel crowded. I saw couples, a few families. There were some British guys passing through on a bicycling tour. I didn't see any clusters of screaming children, although from the reviews I've read, that's always a possibility. Borgo San Felice has the typical hotel laundry service, and by typical I mean exorbitantly expensive. We had to do some laundry, so we took it to a coin-operated laundromat located on the outskirts of Siena. We did a couple of loads, and then we toured Siena, which I think is an essential side trip when staying at Borgo San Felice. The city has public parking lots very close to the compact but hilly historical center. The Duomo there is really magnificent, full of museum-worthy sculptures, frescoes, and mosaics from the leading artists of the Renaissance. Other notable towns and villages nearby include Monte Regione and Gaiole in Chianti. Despite all these nearby attractions, we only left the Borgo twice during our 4 days there. Once for the aforementioned visit to Siena, the other to have dinner at a Michelin-starred restaurant called L'Asinello in the nearby village of Villa a Sesta. I recommend it. It's less than 10 minutes by car. The restaurant is charming, and the village is small and serene and worth a pre- or post-meal walk. Overall, our stay in the premier suite at Borgo San Felice lived up to our expectations. The property is stunning, the room well appointed, and the breakfast was exceptional. The staff was terrific, very friendly and helpful. It's a great place to unwind in after visiting a tourist-choked Italian city. I thought the price for the room was fair, but the add-ons certainly are expensive. I think it was another 1,200 euros or so on top of the bill for our room. If you want to cut costs, you could always pass up the tasting menu at Poggio Rosso and save a few $100s. But then again, you've traveled all that way, you might as well splurge a little. Hope this helps. Thanks for watching.